Let's take this joker out. Let's see, is it wired in with the thermostat? So the backstory on this unit is that a lady called us that was very concerned that she was going to need a whole new furnace in her house. But all she said over the phone was her furnace stopped working and her son tried to fix it. And now she's worried that she needs a whole new one. So when we arrive, this is what we find. Matter of fact, when we walk up to the front door, there's a hull of an old electric furnace sitting outside. And then as you walk through the house, there are many parts from different furnaces, used parts, that were taken off, that I guess they were trying to use to get this unit back up and running. So the first thing I do is take this strip heater kit out of the unit. I don't really know what they were trying to do with this. I'm not 100% sure, but as soon as I saw it, I just wanted to rip everything out. I didn't trust any of the wiring that was there. I didn't know how it was tampered with. So I just, instead of trying to study what they had done, I just went ahead and ripped it all out the best I could, bare bones. And then worked on rewiring it. Because I tried for a little bit to rewire what was in the cabinet, and it just wasn't going well. There wasn't a wire diagram to go off of, and even if there was, I don't think anything in there was wired right anyway. So I just had to rip everything out and put it back in as simply as I could, and I think it turned out nicely. But this is one of the biggest messes that I've walked into, I believe, ever. I've been behind where people have worked on their old units and they blew a transformer or tore something up, but this is one of the bigger messes that I've found. And another thing, this capacitor I'm taking off the unit, I'm not sure why it's on there, because that's a 25 UF capacitor, and the motor they have in it right now is a 2-wire hookup, doesn't need a capacitor, 240 volt. So initial complaint was nothing at all happened, so I'm going to go and check all these little fuses. So now I am taking the fuses out to check them. My train of thought at this point was I want to make sure it's not a simple issue like a fuse that caused them to dive into this and make this kind of mess. I did find one bad fuse. It was a 30 amp fuse, and initially I thought that 30 amp fuse controlled the transformer and the fan, but I was wrong on that. I found out later in the video because I didn't actually trace it out. I just kind of assumed you get 60 for the strip heats and 30 for the fan, whatever. But the fan and the transformer were on the 60 amp, and the issue with 30 amp being blown, they had two strip heats. They had a 10 kW strip heat and they had a 5 kW strip heat. I guess that's technically 3 strip heats, but they had 10 kW's worth of strip heat plugged into the 30 amp fuse, which was obviously never going to work because a 10 kW pulls 40 amps all the time, no matter what. And they had the 5 kW strip heat plugged into the 60 amp fuse, which that was obviously not going to be an issue, not going to pull near 60 amps. So I believe that 30 amp fuse had been blown for a while, at least since the last service on the unit, and probably well before that, because that's something that probably isn't going to be checked on with a normal maintenance. You're not going to pull the fuses if the unit's working, and if you're not in heat mode, then you're probably not going to check the strip heat. So that is the fuse issue.
Lucky, stop. I'm going to put you in the bathroom. You want to go to the bathroom? Yep, there today.
She's going to go ask her son. I guess he lives next door.
It's like a 30 amp.
I didn't mean it literally, dog.
Oh, man. I guess it was the motor. So we need 1075 20. Oh, Lord. Oh, ain't no motor in the back of that thing. Was that? Yeah, that could have caused some issues.
Did that come out of here?
I don't know. The back was completely busted out of that.
Or I wonder if that come out of the old unit.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many parts here. I don't know what came out of the old one and what came out of the new one. Is this? Joker's only got, what, 2 wires? So, oh, all right. So I found out by just putting these 2 wires on the main voltage going in, which could have been stupid, but that's what I did. This motor spins that way, which is reverse order to what it should be. So that motor's bad. Not bad, but it's just going the wrong way. We're telling me this is probably the original. Well, she told me it started a fire and they had to get this fire extinguisher out. And oh my, that's brackets. I was going to use that bracket, but I don't think I can. Yeah, we're going to need a new bracket, which is not great because I had a motor in the truck, so but I don't have a bracket. So okay, bracket. Just get everything powered up. Since I don't have a. Right now, I'm just trying to trace out these wires, see what we have, because I think that this Molex right here was pulled out of a different system. So I'm just gonna try to. I'm just going to try to trace it out, see, because this orange is for the strip heats. This, let me see about common. I know common is this one that jumps over. So it's this brown. It's this brown wire that goes up to nothing. There's nothing on there. I'm gonna look around and see if I can't find a different Molex, because this fits in there, but the wires don't match up. So I'm trying to find a different Molex because that one that's in it doesn't have enough wires to do what I need. I don't have a tool to move wires from one spot to the other. Able to find my tool for these Molexes to punch these out without destroying everything. So now if I just move this wire over to this side, snap that in, we're golden. Lifesaver. Now these colors still ain't gonna match up, but at least all the wires line up to where they're supposed to go. Yep, and this brown now has this brown, which is common. Now what else can we trace out? We have that box, and we got this box. Tested and inspected. I would say Wethager's bare bones, and that sucker is something else here. Cool heat control. We might have to just, honestly, I might just rip almost everything out of here and just and just blame rewire everything to my liking. It's going to take me less time to rip everything out of here and put it back, and just to trace out every little detail here. So that is what I'm going to do. First step complete, isolate the terminal board. Second step, just take everything out. So I realized that the fan was not actually spinning the wrong direction. It was just spinning the wrong direction inside of the whole squirrel cage, because the fan wheel was spinning the right way to scoop up the air and throw it, but it was just spinning the wrong way inside the squirrel cage. That's when I realized they had the motor mounted to the wrong side. So I just went ahead and swapped it over to the correct side, so now it should blow the way it's supposed to. That motor was just mounted on the wrong side and it was flipped over. So once we flipped it over, it was spinning the right way, and now we got that in. That's one issue solved. I'm gonna mount this up, and then I'm gonna start working on the wiring to it.
Goodness, that's a good one. Yeah, I didn't know we got some new short ones like that.
Now we are secure. Fan is in. I wonder if that's long enough to reach my. Yeah, I don't need them wires. So I'm gonna take one and stick it to the bottom here, and then I'm gonna take a piggyback connection and just jump it up to the top. That way, whenever my fan calls for, it'll connect my high voltage in here. But if that's off and my strip heats are running, which I'm gonna hook to this terminal, that's gonna come straight across here and over and jump on to this. So either way, my fan's going to get power, whether it's, so basically instead of a 6-pin relay, I'm really just turning this to a 5-pin. So one thing I just did, when we first got here, we realized that fuse was blown. It was in there, but it was blown. And then looking at the way they had it hooked up, they had the 10 kW strip heat hooked in to these small 30 amp fuses, which that was never going to work. It was 40 amps. So I got it switched now where this 10 kW is on the 60 amp breaker with the fan and transformer. So that should do a ton better and not pop a fuse. And we'll have to go get some fuses because I don't have any on the truck to get the whole 15 kW out of this thing. I'm gonna continue. We're almost done here. I'm gonna test this transformer, but I'm pretty sure that was the whole issue all along. Like, I'm smelling it and it smells burnt, but I'm gonna test it just because I can. I already got the new transformer out here somewhere. Yeah, I already got the new one, so we're ready to put it in. And that, or there could be a short somewhere, probably what blew the transformer, because this fuse right here, oh my goodness, oh yeah, you see that? I hope you can see that right there, that little copper wrapped around the fuse. Yeah, the fuse blew, and that's what they did. But then when I was here, they were just connected in like that. So we'll put a fuse in, or not a fuse in yet, but we'll test it and probably see that nothing is coming out of it, and then go from there. But I got to make sure that white is common and orange is 240. So I want white and orange. white and orange. I always like to make sure. Hey, this one's weird. This one's got green and red on the secondary side. Make sure this is 24 volt. 208, 240. Yeah, secondary 24 volt, red and green. This is not a brand we normally use. I guess he must have been the Christmas edition. Too bad I didn't get to put it on at Christmas time. Well, daggum. I just gave Shannon the blame screw gun right when I needed it. Yeah, we can tie this in and then wire nut it in later. Let's see. Now the moment of truth. Oh yeah, could you go to the thermostat and turn it to just fan on?
Just fan on?
Yeah, make sure system is off.
Yeah, I got it on off and I got the fan on.
Okay. Now turn fan back over to auto. And
Still got it on off.
And then go to emergency heat.
Emergency heat?
Yep.
Okay.
And then turn it up to where it should come on. Oh, I'm still on amps. I mean volts. There we go. That's one strip heat on. Oh yeah.
We got emergency heat.
Okay. See this one, it's only pulling 23 amps. So either
You're gonna have a pretty slow first.
change up my wiring a little bit. I think I got cross-eyed. So we got this coming from the top of the strip heaps, coming over, coming out there, and then yeah, that one's coming from the top, going in over, going to the bottom, and then the bottom of the strip heaps is coming from the top here, and that's going back over to the top. So I need to move this choker over to the bottom to get my 10 kW to work. I need to tighten that. That is loose as a goose. Oh. All right, both them strip heats are running back to a 10 kW. Fuse is not tripping. And I'm gonna, everything in here is running fine, pulling 40 amps. Now I'm gonna wire in the outboard unit. All right, so we got it on heat right now. Should be on delay.
It's flashing.
All right, so I'm just going to show kind of what I did here. So ripped all these wires out, hooked in that peanut relay for the fan. I've got this brown wire is coming from the bottom side of this sequencer where the heat strips are. So whenever that heat strip comes on, it's going to send power to this jumper, which is going to go to the fan. I figured I'd jumper it out, so I put a 5-pin relay in here just because that's what they had. And then whenever it calls for it, that high voltage is coming straight from the bus bar, basically coming from through some Molexes, and then that's going to connect, turn the fan on. Then that's basically all we had to replace this transformer. I didn't hook this fan switch back up. That's pointless with a thermostat that's got an on auto button. Didn't wire that in or that in. And we still need that that fuse for the strip heats. That's probably been gone quite a while since how it was hooked into a 40 amp strip heat that's been here for 30 years. It's probably blown at the beginning. So